2000s would be a more successful decade across the LA sports. But then we had bragging rights in college football between USC and UCLA. The USC Trojans, after losing 8 straight to the Bruins from 91 to 98, have won 7 in a row over the Bruins. So, in the even years, the game would be played at the Rose Bowl. In the odd years, it would be played at the Coliseum. And but come 2000, the Lakers would win their first of their 3 straight NBA titles. The first one would be against Larry Bird, coaching the Indiana Pacers, led by Reggie Miller. And yes, Larry Bird used to own us in the NBA Finals when he was with Boston. But we won 2 out of 3 championships against Bird. But we did it again in 2000 by beating the Pacers in 6 games, and would mark the first championship in a dozen years. However, in 2000 and 2001, neither the Dodgers or the Angels would make the postseason. And also in 2001, the Lakers would win another title by beating the Sixers, led by Allen Iverson. But the rain and snow. But in LA, it's always summertime. The Lakers would win their 3rd straight championship in 2002 by sweeping the New Jersey Nets, led by former Laker Byron Scott, who was the coach. And Byron Scott was part of Showtime as well. So we had our three-peat. And then the Angels would finally win their first World Series title, and their only one up to date, by beating the San Francisco Giants in a thrilling 7 games. And yes, the Giants are the Dodgers' rival, so most Dodger fans don't really care much about the Angels, but they did in 2002, led by former Dodger catcher Mike Scioscia, and former outfielder Dusty Baker was managing the Giants. Of course, that would be Barry Bonds' only trip to the Fall Classic as well. So, yeah, just like 1988, 2002, it was a Northern Cali versus Southern Cali, and SoCal won both meetings. And that's what SoCal's all about. And of course, we were all rooting for the Dodgers in '88. And but we did beat the Angels, beat the Giants in 2002, and it was a lot of fun. However, in 2003, the Angels and Dodgers missed the playoffs, but the Lakers lost to the San Antonio Spurs in the Western semifinals. And yes, that would mark the end of an era for Robert Horry. Big Shot Rob really had some memorable moments with us. And then 2004 would be Shaq's last season. So in 2003, we lost to the eventual NBA champion Spurs, but it would be the finale for David Robinson, but the first for Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan would win another MVP. So he won multiple finals MVPs, just like MJ did in Chicago and Hakeem Olajuwon did in Houston. And of course, Big Shaq for the Lakers. And Greg Popovich is still coaching today. However, in 2004, the Lakers made it back to the finals for the 4th time in 5 years after a 1-year absence. But they had to pass all obstacles by beating the defending champion Spurs in the playoffs. Derek Fisher saved him this time. And then it was Kevin Garnett and the Timberwolves, who we beat in the Western Finals. And then we lost to the Detroit Pistons, led by Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace and Chauncey Billups. However, 2004 would be the last year with Shaq and Fox, and well, Kobe would still be with us, and Phil Jackson would step down after that. And Larry Brown would finally win his long-awaited NBA title along with a college championship. However, both the Dodgers and the Angels made the playoffs that year in 04 for the first time ever. They made it in the same year. The Dodgers would lose to the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League Division Series, while the Angels got swept by the Red Sox in the American League Division Series. And the Angels would lose to the eventual World Series champion Red Sox, overcoming an 0-3 deficit to their own rival Yankees in the ALCS. But the Cardinals put on a show against the Astros, who were then in the National League. And the Astros and Cardinals, with those memorable moments. Jeff Ken and Jim Edmonds with those walk-off homers at home. Big Papi David Ortiz in the ALCS against the Yanks with those clutch hits to win it. And the Red Sox broke the curse in 04. However, in 05, the Lakers missed the playoffs. And then in 05, the Angels would lose to the eventual Chicago White Sox in the ALCS. And the White Sox ended their own drought of 88 years. So both droughts ended in 04 and 05. And it was really a joy. However, the Lakers lost to the Phoenix Suns in both the 06 and 07 opening rounds to the Suns. However, the Suns would not win the championship. And the Dodgers would lose to the Mets in the division series in 06. However, the Mets would not win the World Series in 06. So we wouldn't lose to an eventual champion until 07, when the Angels got swept by the Red Sox again. And the Red Sox would overcome a 3-1 deficit to Cleveland in the LCS. And the Red Sox would win their second championship in 4 years, again in a sweep, this time over the Rockies. And Ortiz and Ramirez were part of that. The Red Sox were known for coming from behind. And they have won like 7 straight elimination games in the LCS both times. Then in 2008, the Lakers made it back to the finals, but lost to Paul Pierce and the Boston Celtics, led by Garnett and Ray Allen as well. And Doc Rivers was coaching him. However, the Angels and Dodgers made the playoffs again in 2008. However, the Angels would lose to the Red Sox again, but not in a sweep, but in 4 games. And the Dodgers would make it to the NLCS, but would lose to the eventual World Series champion Phillies, led by Cole Hamels, Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, and Chase Utley, who would later play for the Dodgers. And the Phillies would win their first championship since 1980. So yeah, the White Sox and the White Sox and the Red Sox and the Phillies would end a drought. And then in 09, the Lakers returned to glory and won the NBA title again by beating the Orlando Magic, led by Dwight Howard. And this time, Kobe had a new sidekick named Pau Gasol, and Derek Fisher came back, and Lamar Odom was with us, and Jackson was back. So this time, the Lakers won it all in 09. However, in the 2009 playoffs, both the Dodgers and the Angels made it to the league championship series, but the Angels would lose to the eventual World Series champion Yankees. We lost to the Phillies again. The Dodgers did, but that's how the 2000s ended. That would be our best chance of a World Freeway Series in 09. But it wasn't a big deal for the Angels. For us Dodger fans, seeing the Angels lose to the eventual champs, but it affected the Dodgers and Lakers for sure.